and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NFL week number 14. As we just pickpocket through the year here, a few weeks left in the regular season, fantasy, football, getting ready to go into the playoffs. So some leagues have already started the playoffs. I know in our league, it's only an 8-team league. We're getting ready to start this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not in the top 4, so that sucks. I want to thank Deshaun Watson for that. Why the fuck do you throw that great of a game against the great defense of New England? And I didn't start him. So, not starting Deshaun Watson cost me a victory. So, boom, shakalaka. Why would I fucking start him versus New England? Really? I mean, come the fuck on. Anyway, so week 14. So week 13, 7-9 on straight up picks, 7-9 against the spread, 10-6 on the over/under year to date, 129, 62-1, one loss, 89, 103 against the spread, 98 and 94 over/under, 54.9% overall. I mean, looking back at week 13, who thought that Houston was going to put that kind of points up against New England? Never thought I'd see that one. I mean, I thought New England's defense was exceptional. Deshaun Watson picked them apart. The Jets lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati getting their first win. That was intriguing. Who thought Miami was going to beat Philadelphia? I actually had San Fran beating Baltimore, but Baltimore's a really good team. Tennessee's better than Indianapolis. I mean, really? Washington beating Carolina. Some major upsets last week. But you know what? We can't look in the past. We got to look in the future. The future is week 14. Thursday night, Dallas Cowboys 6-6 versus the 6-6 Chicago Bears. The Bears. Now Dallas is +1 in the NFC East over Philadelphia. They actually have a win against Philadelphia. So a tie does Philly no good. So Philly's got 4 games to be able to be a game up on Dallas. They play week 16, so that actually could be for the division. The winner of week 16, Philadelphia and Dallas, could be for the AFC East. Chicago, on the other hand, they won 3 or 4. Now, that's good, but those 3 wins were 2 against Detroit, 1 against the Giants, and they lost to LA. It's just so hard to get behind Mitchell Trubisky because that defense is so damn good. Now on Thursday night at home, Dallas hasn't been playing great at all here lately. Dallas is favored by 3. I'm taking Chicago. I'll give the 3 to Chicago. Cover under on the 42.5. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins 3-9 versus the 9-3 Green Bay Packers. Packs favored by 13. I got them winning, covering it under on the 42. Now, next up, we have Cincinnati 1-11 now. Yay, Bengals! You got a victory! Woohoo! You don't completely suck. Well, you do, but that's beside the point. You accidentally won a game. Versus the 5-7 Cleveland Browns. These 2 teams face off in Week 17 as well. Now, Cleveland is 2 games behind the playoff picture. They have to win out to even have an outside shot at the playoffs. Now, there's 4 games left. If they go 2-2, that's 7-9. That would match the record from last year. Is that what they are? Are they better than that? I know there's a lot of expectations from yours truly as well coming into the season that Cleveland may be turning the page here. You know what? Cleveland is favoring over the Bengals by 8.5. I got the Browns winning at home, covering the 8.5 and over on the 40.5. We'll see what happens there. Now, this next game. This game should have been flexed to Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. We have the 3-9 Miami Dolphins versus the 4-8 New York Jets. That was sarcasm. If you don't catch on that. Week 9, Miami won 26-18. Since then, since that Week 9 loss to the Dolphins, the Jets are 3-1. I just don't. Sam Darnold, come on, dude. Against Cincinnati, I picked you up to be my starting quarterback, and you give me a big old fucking poopster. Oh, fuck Sam Darnold. Unfortunately, I am picking him to be in Miami. So I got the Jets winning, covering the 5.5 and over on the 44. Now, I want everybody's opinion out there. Last week, I know hindsight's 2020. Deshaun Watson versus the Patriots defense, as good as they've been all year. Or I was able to pick up Sam Darnold, who's been throwing 30 points up a game for the last 2 weeks in a row, playing the worst team in the NFL. Logic says, don't start Deshaun Watson. Fuck! Okay. Sorry, I'm still not over that. A 25-point swing cost me top 4 in playoffs, so it'd be what it be. Anyway, next up, NFC Championship game preview. There are 3 10-win teams in the NFC right now. 2 of them facing here. San Francisco 49ers, 10-2, versus the New Orleans Saints, 10-2. The only other team with 10 wins is Seattle. Now, San Fran, Seattle, same division. That is division rivalry. Seattle holds the tiebreaker. Seattle won 27-24. They play again in Week 17. So that could be for the NFC West. Now, the Saints have already clinched the South. All they're looking for now is home field advantage. We want the Who Dat Nation to host the playoffs. So this actually could be a really good game. Because you have the Saints, they clinched the division. So they don't have to be cautious. They just have to go for it because they're going for the number 1 seed. 49ers, they got Seattle right there on their heels. Coming off a loss. I think they're going to be a little bit more motivated. New Orleans is favored by 3 at home. I'm giving the 3 to the 49ers. I got the 49ers winning, covering, and over on the 44. Next up, we have the 5-7 Carolina Panthers versus the 3-9 Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are favored by 2.5. I'm giving that to Carolina. Carolina covering and under on the 47.5 with a victory. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions, who are 3-8-1 versus the Minnesota Vikings, who are 8-4. Vikings are 1 game behind Green Bay for the NFC North. Vikings are favored by 13.5 against Detroit. Easy win. Cover the 13.5 and under on the 42.5. Pair of 4-8 teams, the Los Angeles, London, San Diego, St. Louis, wherever the hell rumors are the Chargers are going to end up. 4-8 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chargers favored by 3. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 43. 4-8 Denver Broncos versus the 8-4 Houston Texans. How wouldn't I take the Texans after what they did to New England last week? Now think about this. The 2 losses that New England's had this year. Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. They got one thing in common. They're good quarterbacks, I've said that. They like to run. Mr. Belichick, you need to pull your notebook out for running quarterbacks and see how to handle that. I got them covering the 9.5 against the Broncos and winning and over on the 41.5. Indianapolis Colts 6-6 versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5-5. Tampa's favored by 3 at home. I'm giving that 3 to Indy. I get them winning, covering, and under on the 47.5. Now, this matchup could be very intriguing. Could be a playoff preview. The winners of 8 straight. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, the 10-2 Baltimore Ravens versus the 9-3 Buffalo Bills. Very intriguing AFC matchup. Here's why it's intriguing. Both of these teams have a loss in common. Both of these teams have lost to Cleveland. Baltimore also lost to Kansas City and they beat New England. Buffalo lost to New England and lost to Philadelphia. So both of these teams, more than likely at this point, will make the playoffs. This is a good test for Buffalo to see where they compare it to the upper echelon teams. As they lost to New England 16-10. They lost to Philadelphia. So they're beating the teams they should beat, but they're losing to the upper echelon teams. And if they can hang with Baltimore, I'm not saying beat them, I'm saying hang with them. If they can have that, be a 33-28 kind of game, then I think they have a chance to at least get a wild card victory in the playoffs. Baltimore's favored by 5.5. I got them going 9 straight. I got them winning, covering, and over on the 43.5. Next up, a very intriguing matchup in the AFC as well. We have the 8-4 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 10-2 New England Patriots. Chiefs, I got a 2-game lead in the AFC West over Oakland, while New England has a 1-game lead in the AFC East. They are number 2 in the AFC. Number 2 behind Baltimore, a 1-game lead over Buffalo. So New England's really going to be watching that other game, kind of scoreboard watching a little bit to see, are they worried about the overall in the AFC? Are they worried about the division? They do have a 2-game lead for a first-round bye. So they got that going for them. So we can actually legit have 2 teams with better records than the division champions, but be on the road for the playoffs. So they need to work on the reseeding. Seattle right now is 10-2. They're going to have the 3rd best record in the NFC, tied for the best record. They're going to on the road for a playoff game. Same way with Buffalo. They're right now they have the 3rd best record in the AFC, but they would be on the road for a playoff game. So Chiefs versus Patriots. We all know the history of the Monday night game. The Chiefs made Brady look old and decrepit. Brady came back and won the Super Bowl. We know the Chiefs took out Tom Brady a few years back, took his knee out in the first play of the first game of the year. He came back from that. Can Patrick Mahomes beat the veteran Tom Brady? We have the future versus the past here. We have the second-year starter MVP Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. I mean, I'm giving the kid. I'm giving it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it in Foxborough too. Philadelphia. New England's favored by 3. I'm giving the 3 to the kid, Patrick Mahomes. I got the Chiefs winning, and I'm going under on the 48.5. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, 7-5 versus the 3-8-1 Arizona Cardinals. Steelers favored by 2.5. I got them winning, covering, under on the 43.5. As long as Kyler Murray doesn't all of a sudden become a Super Bowl winning quarterback, I think he needs more around him. I think he's doing aight. I just think he needs more. The team is not completely there. Next up, we have the 7-5 Tennessee Titans coming off that win against Indianapolis last week, and the leaders of the AFC South versus the 6-6 Oakland Raiders. Which Raider team are we getting? The one that wants to go for a playoff, or the one's a dumpster fire? Wonder which way we're going to have. Tennessee is favored by 2.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 47.5. Sunday Night Football, we have the 10-2 Seattle Seahawks versus the 7-5 Los Angeles Rams. Week 5, Seattle won barely, 30-29. I think we're going to have something similar here. Seattle wins, they cover the 2.5 and over on the 46.5. Why the hell did they not flex this Monday night game? God damn, NFL. The 2-10 New York Giants versus the 5-7 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is favored by 8.5. You think? Philly wins, covers, over on the 47. They should have flexed that game with, I don't know, Buffalo, Baltimore, New England, Kansas City, 49ers, Saints. The list goes on. So there's, legit 1, 2, 3, even Tennessee, Oakland. I mean, there's at least four possibilities they could have flexed that Monday night game with. That would have been better and more intriguing. But hey, it is what it is. That's Week 14 NFL. Make sure you check out NCAA Week 15 Conference Championship games previews already up on Robert Sports Show. As always, we'll finish out the NFL season all the way through the Super Bowl. Right after the Super Bowl, the XFL starts. So it may be 48 weeks of football next year. There's like a month break between the XFL and the CFL. So that should be really intriguing, but definitely, as always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.